The Last of Us Part 1 is a game that was originally released in 2013 for the PS3 and was met with amazing reviews for its story and beloved characters. Flash forward to today, the game has been remastered for the PS4 and more recently remade for the PS5, which I'll be completing to obtain the Platinum Trophy. In order to get the Platinum Trophy, which is rated 2 out of 10 in difficulty and has an approximate time of 15 to 25 hours to complete, I'll need to obtain all 29 trophies, and I'll also be getting 2 surprise trophies towards the end. So let's begin. We are introduced to our protagonist Joel Miller, who's with his daughter Sarah, and not long after, a virus begins to spread across the planet, infecting every human it comes in contact with. This forces us to flee, and as we attempt to flee, we get our first tragic moment of the game.
Shit. Please don't. Oh no. Sarah. Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know. God. Listen to me, I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby, I know it hurts. Come on, baby, please. I know, baby, I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on.
As a father to 2 young girls, this will always be one of the saddest cutscenes I've seen in any video game. Joel awakes, having been 20 years since his daughter's passing, and boy, does he look rough. But for us as a player, this is where our Platinum Trophy hunt begins, and we start off strong by finding our first Firefly pendant, which gets us the trophy for Fallen Firefly. Next, we meet Marlene, who happens to be the leader of the Fireflies, and she tasks us with smuggling something out of the city. That something happens to be a young girl named Ellie, who we later find out has been bitten by the infected, but is immune to the virus that has plagued the whole of humanity. Joel, skeptical of the situation, reluctantly agrees to continue his task to deliver Ellie to the Fireflies, and we get one of our first wholesome moments between the two.
So is that everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, can't deny that view.
Come on, this way.
Upon arriving to our location, we discover that Tess, Joel's companion, has been bitten by the infected. She begs us to continue our mission to deliver Ellie to the Fireflies by taking her to Joel's brother Tommy. She decides to stay behind and buy them time as the military approaches, and she ends up sacrificing herself to allow for Joel and Ellie to escape. Joel, realizing he might need some help to reach Tommy's, decides to visit a friend in the hopes of obtaining a vehicle. Upon arriving, Joel is unfortunately caught in a trap that Ellie has to free him. Once free, Joel is attacked by an infected, but luckily he is saved by his friend Bill, and we get a pretty funny interaction between the 3 of them.
I'll cut to the chase. I need a car.
Well, it is a joke. Joel needs a car. Well, if I had one that works, which I sure as hell don't, what makes you think I'd just give it to you? Huh? Yeah, sure, Joel, go ahead. Take my car. Take all my food, too, while you're at it.
By the looks of it, you could lose some of that food.
Got him! Got him!
After Ellie finishes taking Bill's soul, we finally get our next trophy for self-help for finding our first training manual. Bill informs us that in order to get a vehicle, we'll need to acquire a battery. So we head to a high school in hopes of retrieving one, but unfortunately find that it's already been taken. Instead, we find our first bloater in the game, and after quickly disposing of that bloater, we move on from the high school and discover Bill's partner Frank's body, who had been bitten and decided to take his own life. Fortunately for us, we discover that Frank had a vehicle, and more importantly, that battery that we were looking for. For our next trophy, we need to find a letter that Frank left for Bill and give it to Bill. After Bill reads it and throws it away, we go around the truck and pick it up for our next trophy in memoriam. We then say goodbye to Bill and make our way to Pittsburgh, where we come across a man who's pretending to be injured in order to ambush us. As we try to escape, another vehicle collides with us and forces us to crash. The individuals then try to attack Joel, but make a terrible mistake when Joel quickly dispatches them and then escapes with Ellie. While exploring Pittsburgh, we get our next trophy for Savage Starlight Fan for finding our first of many comic books. Immediately after, we craft every item in the game and get the trophy geared up. Attempting to escape Pittsburgh, we run into two brothers, Henry and Sam, who are also trying to escape as well. And with their help, we get our next trophy, Lights Out, for turning off this generator without being detected. Once we escape Pittsburgh, we enter the sewer system and get our next few trophies. First, we get waterlogged for riding this metal contraption with Henry and Sam. Then we find a workbench and fully upgrade our weapon for combat ready. And finally, we find the last safe and open it for sticky fingers. After those trophies, we come to a part where we need to fend off some enemies using a sniper rifle and some of my best FaZe Clan sniping skills and put them to action. Yo, fellas, make sure my aimbot's on, okay? And don't let anybody know.
What do you mean by that?
After a successful sniping session, the group manages to escape. Unfortunately, we discover that Sam has been bitten, and when Sam attacks Ellie, Henry is forced to shoot his own brother. Henry, unable to reconcile with his decision to kill his brother, decides to take his own life. Some months pass, and we finally arrive in Jackson County, and that's when we get our next trophy, and this one is for not giving Ellie a high five. I know, it's not a good one, so I immediately restart the checkpoint and give Ellie the high five that she rightfully deserves. After that trophy, we finally find our brother Tommy, who we haven't seen for years, and we ask him to have a private conversation, but before that, we need to get our next trophy for petting this dog. Once we begin our private conversation, Joel begs Tommy to take Ellie to the Fireflies, stating that he can't do it himself. Tommy refuses though, but before we can finish our talk, we are ambushed, and that's when we get our next trophy for breaking all melee weapons that we've upgraded once, and I went a little Rambo to get this one. After the fight, Tommy changes his mind about taking Ellie to the Fireflies. Unfortunately, Ellie finds out and ends up running away, and when we finally catch up to Ellie, we get this intense moment between Ellie and Joel.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
After being pretty mean to Ellie, Joel does have a change of heart and decides that he will take her to the Fireflies. With Tommy's direction, we set off to a local university where the Fireflies were last known to be. Upon arriving at the university, we discover that the Fireflies have already packed up and left and have headed to a hospital in Salt Lake City. But before we have any time to digest the information, a group of hunters attacks us. Trying to escape, Joel is pushed off a balcony and severely injured. Joel, unable to move by himself, needs Ellie's help to get up and escape the university, and as they ride off, Joel ends up collapsing to the ground, leaving Ellie wondering what she can do. At this point in the playthrough, we decide to do the Left Behind DLC since its events fit chronologically in the order with the main story. We pick back up with Ellie, caring for Joel, and needing to find medical supplies to help him with his injury. Fortunately, we're able to find a medkit, but before we can return to Joel, the story shifts us to a flashback of Ellie before she was bitten, and this is where we're going to start to get some more trophies. First, with our friend Riley, we play a brick throwing contest that we must win to get a trophy, Brickmaster. Next, we finish telling Riley all our jokes and get the trophy, "That's all I got." We then move to an arcade where we get our next trophy, "Nobody's Perfect," for playing a racing game. And we play another game to get the trophy, "Angel Knives," for defeating the final boss without taking a hit. And finally, we get a trophy, "Skills," for defeating Riley in a water gun fight. Unfortunately for us, we were having too much fun getting those trophies, and nearby infected heard us and decided to attack. But before we can find out what happens, we cut back to Ellie, who had just retrieved the medical kit. While attempting to get back to Joel with the medical kit, we discover that some hunters followed us from the university and are looking for us, and this is when we can get our next trophy, "Live Bait," for using a brick or a bottle, lure infected to attack them. We finally make it back to Joel and stitch him up to stop his bleeding. This is when we flash back one more time and discover that Ellie and Riley were both bitten by the infected that attacked. This is when we come to the end of the Left Behind DLC, with both girls accepting their fate and deciding to just spend their time together before the end, unknowing that Ellie is actually immune. And with that, we get our last trophy for the DLC, "Don't Go." It is now winter, and we pick back up with Ellie, who's hunting for food for her and Joel when she runs into an individual named David, who, to her surprise, happens to be the leader of the hunters that attacked them back at the university. When she discovers this, she tries to get away, but unfortunately, David captures her. We are now back with Joel, who finally wakes up from his injury, and with Ellie nowhere to be found, he sets out to find her, but runs into two of David's men. Unfortunately for them, they had no idea who they're messing with.
The girl. Is she alive?
What girl? I don't know no girl. Fuck!
Focus right here, right here. I'll pop your goddamn knee off.
Fuck you, man. He told you what you wanted. I ain't telling you shit.
That's all right. I believe him.
No, wait!
We are now back with Ellie, who manages to escape from David, but once again, he is able to track us and take us down, and while he tries to choke us out, Ellie manages to just get a weapon in order to fight back, and as she uses David's head as an object in a rage room, Joel finally arrives.
Stop! Stop!
Fucking touch me!
It's me! It's me! It's me! Look! Look! It's me.
He tried to...
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay.
Joel.
It's okay.
We now finally arrive at Salt Lake City, and it seems that Joel is having second thoughts about everything.
We don't have to do this. You know that, right?
What's the other option?
Go back to Tommy's. Just be done with this whole damn thing.
After all we've been through. Everything that I've done. It can't be for nothing.
We now begin to arrive towards the end of the game, and we'll be getting some trophies. First, we'll get Sharpest Tool in the Shed for finding our last upgrading tool. Next, we get the trophy Getting to Know You for having our last optional conversation in the game when Ellie hands us a picture of Joel and Sarah. Then, we find our last training manual and get the trophy Something to Fight For. And finally, we find the last workbench and get the trophy Prepared for the Worst. We now arrive at St. Mary's Hospital in Salt Lake City and are reunited with Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies. She informs Joel that Ellie's being prepped for surgery and he seems confused as to why. She then tells us that in order to make a vaccine, that they need to dissect the virus that's growing inside Ellie. Joel knows that the virus grows only in the brain and that this procedure will kill her. Unwilling to accept a loss of another daughter, Joel turns on the Fireflies and begins to hunt for Ellie. While making our way through the hospital, we find our last shift door and open it for Master of Unlocking. Inside, we get the last Firefly pendant in the game and get the trophy, Look for the Light. Then, we find the last artifact and get the trophy, Chronicles. We locate the operating room and enter to see Ellie about to have surgery. The surgeon tries to stop us and won't let us take her, so we end up shooting him in the head. We take Ellie from the operating table and begin to escape the hospital. We are then confronted by Marlene, who tells us that we're making a big mistake and that everything can still be undone if we just go back. Joel, not willing to listen, shoots Marlene and kills her. Ellie wakes up, dazed and confused, and asks Joel what happens. Joel lets her know that there's nothing her immunity can do to save the world and that the Fireflies have given up trying to find a cure. Seemingly upset, Ellie rolls away and Joel apologizes as he takes them back to Jackson. Just outside Jackson, we find our last comic book and we get the trophy Endure and Survive. Next, we get the last cutscene of the game.
Here right now.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
With that, we complete the campaign and get the last trophy no matter what. And it can't be for nothing, the Platinum. Now, as an added bonus, we are going to go to the PS4 version of the game that has 2 difficulty trophies for Grounded. Now, this is approximately a 6 out of 10 difficulty and roughly 30 hours to complete. Honestly, Grounded is not that difficult in The Last of Us Part 1. If you use a lot of stealth and you're careful with your movements, you're able to avoid a lot of enemies and sneak up behind them. Also, if you use bricks and bottles to stun them, you're able to grab them, so it's a lot easier. You can also craft smoke bombs to throw at enemies because enemies can't shoot through smoke. And another thing you can do is peek corners with your sniper rifle and shoot enemies in the head from a distance. Most encounters you can just run past. The most difficult ones, you can go slow and steady and can easily get it. So to reiterate, stealth is your best friend. Bricks and bottles, always make sure you have them. Craft smoke bombs when you can. And overall, save all your ammo for the necessary fights. Don't use any if you don't need to, just run past those encounters. And with that, I got the 2 Grounded difficulty trophies associated to the PS4. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.